Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 love, and blessings to each and every one of you. Welcome back to Redefining Authenticity. My name is Sheronda Barksdale. I'm your spiritual life and empowerment coach over at Authentically Your Expressions, where I'm helping you live your most authentic life.
Yes, and hey everyone, peace and blessings. I am Kim Martin Raymond, your toolbox essentialist and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit, and home of the what? 365-day challenge. Y'all, we on day 216. Stop.
Oh,
Stop.
that means we,
Yes.
we, we rocking through the year, though. If you
We
still here,
rocking through the
that's
year.
your body.
Yes, we've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and that means that we are 216 days into 2025, y'all. It just got real. It just got real.
Yeah.
Okay, and welcome back to school to all of our kiddos here, at least in the South, who started back to school today. Okay, my
Yeah.
grandbaby, your babies, everybody's back in school.
Everybody, I'm so happy, child. Let them eat one more thing. Eat one more thing in this house. Get out. Go eat their breakfast. Go eat their lunch. I'm sick. I'm sick of it. I love my children, but my goodness.
Right. Tag your it, teachers. Okay. We're just like tag your it. We had our turn. It's your turn.
It's your
Okay.
turn.
You go on. You be the play mom.
Oh, my
Okay.
his nephew and niece went to school. Oh,
Yes. Everybody's back in school. Okay.
yeah.
So we are back
We are
in school.
back
Okay.
in school.
You know, that's my favorite thing for you. But if you
Okay.
are listening in, y'all, please make sure that you hit us up in the comments. Let us know that you're here. My miles of smiles. Sharonda's son is in the comments. Hey Miles, we love you. That's my Miles of Smiles. Love him. He said we back in business. All
That's
right.
crazy. It's like you
Through.
had ate one more. I love you, baby.
All
Eat one
right.
more thing.
Make sure that you guys go down there, go into our YouTube channels. They are running across the bottom of the screen. So please make sure that you like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know when we are here. Okay,
Yes.
check us out.
Yeah. So Kim, how are you? Just want to check in with you real quick. Where are you, Carmen
I'm
San
good.
Diego?
I have been home for the last couple of weeks, and things are about to ramp back up again since school year is starting back. So training sessions are coming back up again. So you're gonna be seeing some different backgrounds in just a few minutes. We'll be back out there, but
It's
so
coming.
far
It's
so good.
coming.
How are you?
I'm doing well, girl. Like I said, just happy. My children have everything they need for school, that they look amazing their first day of school, that they're
Yes.
excited to go back to school. It's been great. I'm exhausted. That's part of sending them back to school. See, there's a balance. They ain't
That's
eating all the food, but you're up at 6:15 in the morning. There's a difference.
that right
There's a
there.
difference.
That
But
right
I'm
there.
grateful, and I'm thankful for my babies. I'm grateful, thankful for Kim. She's the most
Oh,
amazing person in the world. She looks out for my children so much. She loves her babies,
I
and she
do.
loves from me,
I
and I
do.
love
I love
her.
my grandbaby too. That's
And
my
her
heart and soul.
grandbaby,
Let me tell y'all
beautiful
what I did.
twin.
I locked her hair. Okay, because I the Nana got tired of braiding hair. I've been braiding hair for many years. And so it was time for my loctician to lock her on up, and they look spectacular. I love them. And now
Yes.
I'm going to get to save my hands. No arthritis for me, no
Okay.
bursitis, because I ain't got to be braiding. Okay.
It's the
These
first
hands, I'm too old for it now. So I was like, no, I had to pass the torch on. So now we're not braiding anymore. We palm rolling. Okay. We good. We in the house.
The knuckles are happy. The knuckles are happy. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right.
Y'all,
Shout
I'm
out
so
to you.
excited about this conversation tonight. The need for closure. Because
Yes.
sometimes we just can't move past the situation until we receive that closure. So that's a conversation me and Kim had talked about a month ago, that we wanted to have this conversation with you all. So we want to talk about the importance of the need and when you can't get it. So you
Okay.
ready to kick us off, Kim?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. The need for closure. Okay. So it says, what is the need for closure? And it says the need for closure in relationships refers to the desire to find a sense of completion and understanding after a relationship ends, whether it's romantic or platonic. Okay? So that's what I mean. That's what the need for closure is. You
Mhm.
know, for some people, they just can't close the door until they kind of, can make that break. And it's
Yes.
interesting because that closure can look different. It's
Yes.
definitely going to look different in a relationship. And like it says here, whether romantic or platonic.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a friendship, and sometimes that needs to end. And sometimes you can have that conversation for closure. And then there
Yeah.
may be some like a more romantic relationship where that person may ghost you. But
Come
sometimes you still need that
that
closure.
closure.
And we need to know what that's all about.
Kim, I've even had this experience with a job. When they let you go, it's like, but what happened? What did I do? Can I get some more information about what's going on that I'm being let go? And sometimes they don't give you an answer. Georgia is a right to work state.
Hmm.
So they could let you go because your eyes looked a little crossed today. They're like, we didn't like how your eyes look. I mean, they
Hmm.
try to come up with good reasons, of course, but sometimes it's something as simple as unemployment, being
Right,
let go from a job, and you want to know why.
right.
Why did this just happen to me? And that's a difficult process to work through. It really is.
It is. It is. And I mean, I like that it says the desire to find a sense of completion. You
Ooh,
know, you have that desire for it. It doesn't mean that it always comes to fruition. Because, like I said, sometimes the thing that you hear a lot lately is that person ghosted. That
yes,
person is just gone. And so, even though sometimes we have a need for closure, that's why I said it may look different because
yes.
sometimes you may not be able to get the closure from the person that you needed, and sometimes it just may be that sense of having to reach within and say, okay, what part do I need to play in this closure, and really determining what that closure is going to look like because it's going to
Exactly.
look different.
Peace, Linky. I saw you click like. Let us know if you are here.
Hey,
'Cause
girl.
I'm sure you understand this very, very well. But that closure thing it almost feels like a dot, dot, dot instead of a period. I understand that feeling
Right.
of, I don't understand what just happened. When someone just breaks up with you out of nowhere, you're like, but I'm thinking out, you didn't even give me a signal that
Right.
anything was wrong. You didn't
Right.
say nothing. Nothing has changed between us, and all of a sudden, it's over. And sometimes I've had to work through this, Kim. I
Hmm.
really had to learn how to, even when it comes to like stuff like forgiveness or things like trauma and stuff like that. And you want a parent to apologize or an ex to apologize or somebody to make you feel better about the ending of something.
Hmm.
And too bad, so sad, you're not always going to get that. And as a life coach, I really have had to walk people by their
Hmm.
hand to help them come to a place of closure without
Yeah.
the other person being involved at
Right.
all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, that's critical.
Yeah.
That's critical. All right, let's move on.
So why is closure so important? One of the reasons, emotional resolution. Closure can help individuals process their emotions, reduce confusions, and prevent prolonged sadness or anger. And that's
Mhm.
real. If you don't get that closure sometimes, it is like, that's the grief. That's where grief enters. There's a different form of grief where someone doesn't necessarily transition to another realm, but now I'm grieving because I don't understand what just happened.
Mhm.
I'm confused. I'm sad. I'm angry. And people will go into a cycle, like
Right.
grief is, of these emotions over and over again because again the period wasn't put at the end. So sometimes we're looking for just an emotional resolution so that we can feel better, just a little bit better, because you ain't gonna feel completely
Right.
better. Just
Right.
but just to
Right.
get an emotional resolution to what just happened.
That's it. Just like you said, it's a highly emotional state that you're in
Ooh,
when this happens, and and when you get there, we're always wanting to say, okay, well, where does this land? as individuals, as humans, we're always wanting to put something in a box. We're always wanting to find some place for this emotion or for this event or for this whatever it was
Yeah.
experience.
Ooh.
We're always looking for some place for it to fit. What box do I put this in? Do
Yeah.
I put this in the anger box? Do I put this in the computer? What box do I put this in?
Yeah.
And if you don't know where to put it, then you're frustrated because you're like, okay, I don't know whether to be mad or whether to be relieved, or
Yes.
I don't know where I need to put this.
Yes.
So there's always going to be that sense of, okay, I've got this thing and I just don't know where to put it.
Ooh, Kim.
And then what's going to happen is you're going to wind up reacting as opposed to responding because you don't have anywhere for it to go.
Come on.
Was it me? Was it you? Am I overreacting? Am I, was I blind or something? I just don't know where this fits.
Yes.
I don't have enough information to figure out where this fits.
Absolutely.
And so just like you said, it becomes cyclical.
Yeah.
You're going around and around. 1 minute you're upset, then you're frustrated, then you feel a sense of relief.
Yes.
Where's my emotion need to be? Do I need to just go ahead and dismiss what's going on and move on with my life? Or is this something that I need to reflect on because I did something that may have been out of character, or I may have done something that I need to resolve.
Yes.
So like I said, it just leaves a big question mark.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overly logical. When you're a logical person, everything needs to make sense.
Right.
And if it doesn't make sense, you're talking about an emotional roller coaster?
Yes.
Because I don't know, where do I place this feeling?
Right.
If it doesn't make any sense, and that's me with self-awareness, understanding that about myself. It's like, how do I hate having to create a narrative, or I have to create a reason to feel better. Well, Sheronda, it's okay. You did your best. Just let it go. No, motherfucker. Wait a minute. No, I want to know what I did. Even if I'm not back with, it's not even necessarily I need to get back to hire me back to that job or take me back into this relationship. It's like, I need, what just happened? What even if I noticed that things were hard, right? Because sometimes it's not just everything's good and somebody disappears. But if things were hard, why couldn't we work through it?
Right.
Why couldn't we go to therapy for this? Why couldn't we done something? I logically want to understand why we couldn't fix this problem. So my need for, I'm telling you, I really had to do a lot of work in this area because there's not always a clear cut resolution, and you have to do it within your own emotions for yourself.
Right.
And you can't require other people to do that for you sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, you make a good point when you're talking about the fact that we have to get to a place where we can, I don't know. You want to get to that place where you're able to close the door on it and say, okay, I know what next steps I need to take. I know what things I need to do differently moving forward.
Yeah.
But if I don't understand what happened, I can't come to that conclusion. I can't reach that space.
I can't reach the space.
I'm like, I'm just like, and again, that's where the confusion comes in. I'm just not sure what's happening here. I'm not sure what the game plan is from here. And I'm a planner. I want to know, okay, what do I need to do moving forward?
Yeah.
And now I'm not at that place where I feel like, because I wasn't part of the decision. I guess that's where I'm trying to go. I wasn't part of the decision for this to go the way it went.
Yes.
And so therefore I wasn't given an opportunity, like you said, to figure it out or to be a part of the potential solution. You just took it upon yourself to make that decision for me.
Yes.
And so I'm feeling some kind of way because of that.
Yes.
I'm feeling some kind of way because you didn't even give me an opportunity to have a say in this.
In this.
You give me a choice in this. You made the decision for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
and I need to know why I wasn't afforded the opportunity to be a part of this
Part of
decision.
this decision.
It became one-sided. I have an issue with that. So I definitely understand why closure is important for that reason.
Yes. When you're on a healing journey too, when you get that closure, it's an opportunity for growth. That's what I do like about closure. Because like I said, I don't necessarily need to be with you no more.
Mhm.
But if I know what I contributed to the situation to get here, that gives me the opportunity to grow for the next relationship. The
Right,
next time I'm on a job, the next time something that I'm doing, I want to know how I contributed to the demise of this situation
right,
so that I could be better at the next one. That's
right.
me. I know that's how I am. I've had to tell myself to let it go at times
Mhm,
and just go
mhm,
ahead about your journey. But for me, it's the growth of it all too. I want to grow emotionally. So part of that is that emotional resolution of being
mhm.
able to say, all right, that's what
Right.
I did. I see how I contributed to this. Now I can see how I can move differently.
Mhm, mhm. Absolutely 100% agree with that.
Ready?
All right, let's go. All right, so why is closure important? For understanding, seeking closure can provide clarity about the reasons for the relationship's end, allowing individuals to learn from the experience and potentially avoid repeating mistakes in future relationships. Okay, that's why, just like you're saying, providing that clarity. I love clarity. I
Ooh.
love asking questions so that I'm clear on the next thing that I'm going to say,
Mhm.
or to get that rationale. Just
Yes.
like you said, hashtag memes, make it make sense. It's got to make sense to me so that, again, because we're human, I need to figure out where this lands. Where does this land in the spectrum of this relationship that I'm in?
Yeah.
I need to know where it's going to land so that way I can grow from this. And that's the thing that's important too. Closure is not designed to be something that gives you ammunition to attack somebody else.
Okay.
It should be for your growth, not for your arsenal to attack
Absolutely.
someone else.
Yeah.
I want closure because I want to be able to confirm that it was your fault.
Yeah.
No, that's not what you're
That's
doing.
not what it's for.
It's not to confirm that other person did something wrong.
Right.
But just like Sharonda said, it's an opportunity for you to determine what it is that you need to do so
Yeah.
that you're not making the same mistakes. You're not making the same mistakes, not them, because you're in control of your emotions and your feelings.
Yes.
You can't control that other person.
Yeah.
So you're getting closure for understanding so that way you can grow and progress and move forward. Not
Yes.
for you to file it away to use it against that person.
Games are
Close the file cabinet, turn the
Yeah.
lock, and leave it alone.
Yep.
Leave it locked.
And a lot of people they get the closure and they turn around and dog the person out after the fact. He
Just
said
say,
he left because of this, but he know he lying because I remember when he did it. I remember when she did that, and I remember and they did all those things. So you telling me you couldn't put up with me? It's too much. It's a measure. It's a personal measuring stick.
right.
Closure is for you to determine what you can do to grow, not to be able to point the fingers.
Right.
Something you said, Kim, made me think about I'm such a compartmentalizer. We were saying you got to figure out where it fits. I'm such a compartmentalizer. I've been like that since a little girl. I can build you almost anything if you give me some instruction.
Right.
If you give me the instructions, I can build it, I can make sense of it, and I can make it work. But if you won't give me something that makes no sense to me, I'm not even going to try to build it. I'm not going to put a screw somewhere where it don't belong. And so that's part of who I am. It's like, if this doesn't make sense, I don't even know where to begin the healing process for myself.
Mhm.
So again, work that I've had to learn how to do, which is stuff like writing a letter to the person without ever giving it to them, just so I can let it go and I make it
Absolutely.
make sense for me. The
Absolutely.
different spiritual practices that I do, you won't get the closure that you need all the time. And sometimes we gotta be okay with that. But when we get it, yes, it helps us avoid doing the same thing over and over again. And some people never learn that. People could say to, I've seen people, you could say to them, you're misogynistic. I don't even like the way that you talk to me as a woman. You're treating me bad, blah, 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 blah. And then they turn around and get to the next woman and do the same thing.
Same thing.
You've heard this before. People keep breaking up with you for the same reason over and over again. Absolutely. It's for the purpose of growth. So you're not. And sometimes I wonder, do you want to be in a relationship at all? Do these people want one?
Good question.
Do you really even want the relationship? Let's be honest.
Child, like you said, closure is not a revolving door. It's a closed door. So don't keep going around and round and round and around. It's not a revolving door. That's a type of door, but that's not the door that leads to closure. Because you're just going to keep on going around and around and around and around and around when you need to just go ahead and close the door.
You made me think of one of them things at the West and them doors that go, you know how scared I am? I'm so scared to go click my heel. I hate them doors. That's probably why I try to get off of it. That's why I'm going to get off. I don't want to be in any cycle of anything. Right. I'm for being dizzy. I'm 46 years old. Dizziness and spinning around, they don't feel the same as they did when I was 6.
Right.
Okay? So I'm not doing it with nobody.
Right.
Give me my closure or leave me alone.
That's it. I'm either coming in the door, I'm going out the door, but I'm not going round and round.
Around and around and around and around.
Not doing it. You hear that song, circles, go round in circles. All right, I'm dating myself. Moving on. I digress.
Okay, so another reason why closure is important for moving on. Closure can help individuals detach from the past relationship, reduce emotional attachment, and make it easier to establish new, healthier relationships. I like that middle part, Kim. To reduce emotional attachment. Because when you don't give someone closure, they're constantly thinking of you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be connected to you. I don't like energy being connected to me. I must say, that's one thing I am not a fan of. I'd rather give you closure and be straight up and be like, this is the reason I can't work with you. Even with clients, there's been clients where I had to be like, no, this isn't going to work. You need to go to therapy. I see now the work that we're doing together is not going to help effectively. But what if I just keep avoiding the person?
That's not going to help.
I keep scheduling with them and they're looking for their next coaching session and you just see nothing. Or I've done this in my early years of coaching where I kept trying, just like people do in relationships. I kept trying to fix them. And I didn't want to let go.
Right.
But then I learned, no, it's okay to let somebody go. But give them the closure that they need and the reasons why you're letting them go. You're having hallucinations. Your grief is too heavy for a life coach. I can do it, but I'm not certified and I'm not going to lose what I'm doing and get sued as a life coach because you should be in therapy. And those are the different forms of what we're talking about with closure. There's certain times you have to reduce the emotional attachment to a situation.
Right.
So that they could create something new. Because when you don't, they're still calling you. Can I please come see you? Can you come? Can I see you? No.
That's it. Sometimes that closure, like you said, is setting a boundary. It's setting a boundary and saying to that person that, okay, yes, I'm detaching myself from. I need to remove myself from this in order for me to grow, in order for me to progress. I've got to make a clean break. I've got to be able to move on. But just like you said, those emotional ties and that attachment, you don't want that person hanging on by a thread. Okay. And at the same time, you're not cutting the thread in half so quickly. You're making it palatable to be able to move on from that, but you're reducing that attachment.
Yeah.
You're giving that rationale, that reason, not only for yourself, but for that person as well.
Yeah.
But, sometimes it's just a matter, we have to say it out loud.
You have to say it out loud.
You have to be able to say it out loud. Or just like you said, in instances where we are not with that person or that person is not, can be a part of that closure process. Yes, it may be where we're having to write things down. Write it down and to be able to say, okay, I've said what I need to say. I need to get this out.
Out and burn it.
I need to get it out so that way I'm not stuck in this vacuum. Like we just talked about, I'm not stuck in this turnstile of going round and round and round and round.
Yeah.
There's got to be a stopping point, and it stops here. I'm stopping here so that I can take the next step.
That's it.
I'm closing this book so I can go on to the next one.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to get to that space of moving on. I can't move if I remain stuck, and if I remain attached, and if I just continue to do that. And that's difficult, especially when you think about people who are in long-term marriages and they decide to close because they've got so many connections,
yes,
so many things that tie them together. And so for some people, that closure is a little difficult because there's more than one part to it.
There's more than one part.
It may affect more than one person.
We still have investments. Yes.
Correct. And so sometimes that's where that closure can be difficult. You want to move on, but you've got a couple of tentacles out there. There's a whole lot of things that are going on out there, and you've got to disconnect one by one. But you've got to do that so that you can get to that point of moving on. So any connections that are left, or any ties sometimes that are left undone, become an issue. So,
and I'm gonna call some of y'all out. Some of y'all like people being emotionally connected to y'all forever. Tell the truth. Some of y'all enjoy this person reaching out to you every 6 months. Matter of fact, you stalking their Facebook and IG profile now. You know you're doing it. You're still checking on them and still trying to see how they're doing. And it's mostly because you never received the closure that you needed, or didn't receive it. One or the other. You can't move on. That's one of the things that I've done, but it makes no sense. To go back looking at an ex's profile, that means you're trying to figure out what they're doing. Why?
Right.
Why? Because there's still an emotional attachment to the space. And we may have to do a show about that, Kim. I don't even have my pen and paper in front of me like I normally do, about positive and negative emotional attachments with people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you and this person have moved on, how do you get to the healthier relationship if you still have this? It's not even a spiritual, it's not even soul ties all the time, because people be using, it's just an energetic pull. If I think about somebody too long, guess what the hell gonna happen? They showing up in my DMs. Right. I don't even like thinking about you, I don't even like thinking about y'all too much. They don't even have to do with past exes. You can just be a friend. Or a client that I had before, I'm just thinking, oh, I wonder how they do. You think about it too much. You just thinking about what they went through and stuff. All of a sudden they're in your DMs, because that's how heavy the connection can be between people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how thick that it can be. So at the end of a thing, see, this is something I practice spiritually. What I do, especially when I get in the shower, is say, I release all energy that is not mine. And I call all energy back to me. Even with sexual attachment, no lie. I release all energy that is not mine. And I call all of my energy back to me. Because number one, I'm an empath. And so I be connected to something that's not even mine.
Right.
Somebody else is going through something. That's what closure is. It's that emotional connection that you're still pulling onto that space. When you don't have a good closure space, whether the person gives it to you or you give it to yourself, you are emotionally and energetically attached to someone, and it's taking energy away from that beautiful relationship, that beautiful woman or man, whatever that you could be doing all them good things with. You're sharing the energy with them.
Right.
Move on.
That's it. But just like you said, the closure is that emotional baggage. Like that you're carrying into something else. When you don't get that closure, you just hold on to it. You make it a backpack and you carry it on your back. And just like I said, it makes it harder to establish, new and healthy relationships when you don't have that closure.
Yes.
You're carrying that on your back, and you're not releasing it or opening yourself up to the possibilities of accepting anything in that they said is new or healthier for you.
Period.
So you're doing yourself a disservice when you're not closing it. Again, we're going to keep repeatedly saying this, that is you may not get the closure from the other person, but you're getting the closure for yourself. That
Yes.
doesn't mean that, okay, that person didn't give me what I wanted, so or they didn't give me the closure that I wanted, so I'm just going to sit in this. You're just refusing to move.
You refuse to
And,
move.
and, and now you're putting yourself in a place of being stuck.
Yeah.
Why are you choosing to be stuck when you have the opportunity to move on and say, okay, what is it that I can do to provide closure for
For
myself?
myself.
What is it that I can do for myself? You
Yes.
know, what is it? What is something that I may feel have been a misstep in this?
Yes.
You know, and if I don't see one, okay, then I'm willing to move on and take a fresh start. And let me start within. Let me get back to loving on me.
Me.
Sometimes that's where the closure begins, where you're loving on yourself and saying, okay, I'm going to move on because I know that I am a beautiful person. I
Yes.
know that I'm a person that has a lot to offer.
Yes.
And but what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm offering and giving that to me.
To
Let me start this closure by falling back in love with myself.
period. A prime example I like to use of this, Kim, and it's really about you're trying to establish something new, letting go of something that is no longer serving your highest good. It's like driving down the road, and you instead of you focus on what's going on in front of you,
Mhm.
you decide to look to the side because you see things happening over here.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's that stalking people's pages on this foolishness. Now your eyes are no longer on the road, and you're gonna have a full blown accident. Meaning
Right.
you haven't established a new healthy relationship. The new relationships right here in front of you. But because you won't place all of your energy here and you're still looking over there, chaos happens right here in front of you.
That's it.
That's
That's
where
it.
all the cheating and all the other extra things are happening because you're still vying for a different energy. You
Right.
split your energy, and that does not work. It just doesn't work. Even
Mm.
people, Tyler Perry talked about how important it is to master one thing and then move to the next. So you have your closure has to be yours. You have to receive your closure in the most powerful way possible, and
Right.
then you have to move on and put your energy on what's next. It doesn't have to be a new relationship with someone else. It could be the new relationship with you. Like Kim
With
said,
you. I love that.
the new relationship with yourself.
All right. Moving on.
Move on.
How to seek closure. Self
Mhm,
reflection. We talked about this.
mhm,
Take time to understand your own emotions, the relationships dynamics, and what you've learned.
mhm.
Okay, self reflection. It's all about searching within. Again, especially if that person is not available to provide those answers that you're seeking.
Yes.
Take time to be self reflective.
Mhm.
What is it that, what is it that's causing me to feel the way I feel?
Yeah.
I've had clients who have been in relationships and well, I just need to talk to him. What is it that you're seeking to get
Yeah.
from that person's response, and what are you going to do with it? So if that person comes to you and they say, well, I just no longer want to be in a relationship with you because I'm seeking to do something new. Okay, now you've gotten the answer. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with the information that you're given once it's given to you? All right, once they give you that, is that going, are you still not no longer going to be with that person? So, okay, they've told you what you wanted to hear. What is it that you're going to do with that
What are you going to do
information
with it?
moving forward? What are you going to do with that information? Are you going to just say, okay, so once they tell you that, I don't want to be with you because you're overweight. I don't want to be with you because I'm not attracted to you anymore. Okay, so
Mhm.
they've told you that. What are you going to do with that information?
Yes.
How are you going to respond next? I asked my client, what is the end result that you want from getting that answer? And sometimes they're just like, well, I don't, what are you going, because if the answer is still going to be that you're not going to be with that person, what's next? What are your next steps? That's why it's a matter of, asking yourself why, self-reflecting on that. Why is it that I'm so hung up on understanding why? Is it for growth or is it for vengeance?
Ooh.
What am I expecting to get out of this? I'm
Mhm.
always going to ask you, what is the end result? What is it that you're expecting to get out of this?
Yeah.
You know, and that's going to help me to learn myself. It's going to, and I'm just wanting this for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
I just want to find a reason for blaming that person.
That's what it be. Yeah.
So it's definitely a matter of figuring out. Let me reflect on what it is that I'm anticipating, I'm expecting, and how I'm going to react, and how this is going to help me moving forward.
Yes. One of the things because again, my logical brain, one of the things I always make sure that any situation I walk out of, good or bad, even at the ending of a business relationship, and we did what we were supposed to do, we met our goals, and we're moving on to the next project or whatever, or if it was something that we just had to part ways, what I learn from this? And one of the things I remember learning clearly from a relationship was my love language. Was my
Mm.
love language. Reading that book about the five love language.
Yeah.
I think it's Gary Chapman that
Yes.
wrote the book, and I understood that I'm a physical. It's very physical touch for me.
Mhm.
I like to be touched, and I like to touch. I probably like to touch more than I like to be touched. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
and so I didn't know that in that prior relationship. So I
Mhm.
was not getting what I needed. And so that was even a form of closure where I felt was able to say, you know what, it's okay that it didn't work out because you weren't satisfied anyway.
Right.
You didn't
Right.
get to have what you wanted. One of the things I had to learn too was using my voice, not being afraid to use my voice. Because I've been in a relationship where he would intimidate me because I said how I felt.
Mhm.
So if I said I feel X, Y, and Z, then it turned into like your mama. It turned into below the gut. It was like a punch
Right.
under the belly
Right.
instead of just sticking to the conversation. I'd say when you said this, it made me feel this way, and they'd be like, "Well, your mother's ugly." It just was. They didn't
Right.
literally say that, but it would
Right.
be ugly. And what I learned was it's an intimidation tactic. So it started making me not want to express myself.
Right.
So when I got into the next relationship, I knew I didn't want to be with somebody like that. I knew to pay attention to those signs
Right.
this time, or
Right.
that time around, to not get what I had before. Self reflection is so important. Otherwise, again, we were talking about the cycles. You end up being in the same exact cycle. If you can't reflect on yourself, what you did want, what did you get that you didn't want? And how could you have possibly, without the person telling you, contributed to the demise? It takes two people.
Mhm.
One person does not destroy a relationship. I'm telling you that right now. No such thing whatsoever. One person will
Right.
never destroy a relationship. Even when we're just giving into what that other person wants, is part of the destruction
Right, because you've given them permission.
because you're giving them permission. So you have to be mindful to think about, what did I do? What did I want? How do I get these things? How do I pay attention if it's going to show up in the next space so I could do it better?
Right. And I even think about this, Sharonda, when I'm thinking about self-reflection as well. I think about it from even think about it from a job perspective. Okay. When you lose a job and or they terminate you and you're just like, oh, or you get laid off, you're like, oh man, what do you start doing? You start sprucing up your resume. You start going out and looking for a new position because this is your livelihood. This is something that's going to affect your quality of life. And if you think about it in the same vein, and I mean, I know it's a stretch, but
No, it's
you got in
not.
the same vein of your relationship. Okay,
Yes.
this relationship has come to an end. Okay, what am I going to do to work on me? What am I going to do to polish myself up
Come
so
on.
that way I can put myself back out there so that I can get what I'm looking for, so that I can continue in this quality of life that I want for myself.
Mhm.
You know? So I kind of look at it from those parallels sometimes and say, well, you know what? That's what I'm doing. I've realized that I've come to an end with this. Yes, it ended abruptly, but just like I'm looking to continue on because I know I need to do this for my own sanity and for my own quality of life, I need to move on so that way I can get into this new thing that I need to do because, you know, it's affecting my ability to be able to live the way I want to live. Now, here it is. I need to go ahead and do that. Think about that for your relationship. What is it that I need to do to spruce myself up, to dig in and dig in my feet and say, okay, this is what I need to do. Let me look at my experience.
Yes.
Let me go back and look at my resume and see my experience and what I qualify for and what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Then you can begin to see things in from a different perspective and look at it from that angle. That's what I need to do. I need to dig in and see how I'm going to increase my resume, my status. What things do I need to do? What education do I need? What things do I need to do to put me in a better position to receive what's next for me? Yep. That's in your professional and your personal life.
Listen, when Kim says spruce yourself up, it's not for the other person.
Nope.
It's not even for the other person. When you get a job, isn't that for you to benefit your life? When you get into a new relationship, that's for you to benefit for your life. We spend a lot of time sprucing ourselves up, getting BBLs, DDLs, ADTs, and all the other things for the purpose of sprucing up for someone else when it comes to relationships. I love that you made that comparison. Because the hell, I'm not going to do all that. If I do it, it's for me to attract what I want.
Right.
Not for the purpose of, oh, I need to be more beautiful or have a bigger booty or bigger breasts. Girl, I can't use no bigger breasts. I'm sick of them. But I don't want nothing for the purposes because the moment that goes away,
right,
that shifts the dynamics of the relationship in and of itself.
Right.
So sprucing up, I want to be clear to y'all. She is not telling y'all to go do that to attract someone.
That's right.
For the purpose of them liking who you are. Jobs may like who you are. Jobs will like who you are and still not hire you. Okay, so that's not even the point.
That's it.
But you created the energy around getting what I want. I got my resume, I got my education, I got my certifications for the purpose of me getting what I want. Your relationships are to get what you want. So when that closure happens in that last one, you work on these. Miles, you still on here? I don't care. These motherfuckers do not want your broke ass, and you up here trying to get the ones who own yachts. I'm sorry. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. People are attracted to what they are attracted to. This ain't what was Julia Roberts' movie? Pretty Woman?
Oh, yes.
That's not this. That is a once in a lifetime type of thing. Okay. So if you want what you want, you become the thing first. We become the thing first. Part of that seeking that closure and moving to the next space is for you to get what you want.
That's right. That's right. I love it. All right, moving on.
Okay, so how to seek closure? Communication. I wish I should have put a bunch of stars and some asterisk, around this. If appropriate and safe, engage in a calm and honest conversation with your former partner to express your feelings and gain their perspective. If appropriate and safe, don't go bust the windows out their car.
Okay.
Don't go bust the window. Girl, I took a knife at. We'll talk about that later. I went on somebody one time because the way he did the closure was tacky. Just out of nowhere, I want this to end. So yeah, I did a little craziness. Thank God he didn't call the police on me because my story would have been written differently. But if appropriate and safe, engage in a calm and honest conversation because it's not an easy conversation all the time, especially with anger involved, and you really just want to get what you want. It's not healthy. We're talking about healthy communication here, people.
Healthy. That's the key. Okay. And it's all about the throat chakra. It's all about being able to use your voice. That's why it's so important that you have that time of self-reflection because you're making sure that you're comfortable and that you're cognizant of your feelings and your emotions again, so that you are responding and not reacting. You're
Yes.
speaking from a space of calm. You're speaking from a place of transparency, of being able to say, this is how I feel about this, and this is how I was made to feel about this.
Mhm.
I'm just coming from a place of understanding, so that way I can move on again, if it's appropriate and if it's safe. And sometimes it's not. But when it is, say we're talking about a relationship with regards to your job, is there an opportunity to have an exit interview? I've
Right.
been dismissed from the position, but is there a way that we can talk about it? Can we have an exit interview so we can talk about some of the things? Or if I've chosen to leave this job, can I have an exit interview so that we can talk about some of the reasons why
Why?
I chose to walk away? So that way there's clarity, so that
Yeah.
that way you can understand where the disconnect was,
Yeah.
and it's being able to have that honest conversation,
Yeah.
being able to express yourself in a way that honors you and that other person, even though you've chosen to part ways. It
Exactly.
doesn't A closure doesn't always mean that something has ended in negativity.
Yes.
Sometimes it's ended because it was necessary for it, and it ran its course. It came to the end of its season, and now it was time to move on and do something else. And let's have a conversation about that. There have
Yeah.
been songs about it. If you love that person, let them go.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary for us to do something in order for us to grow. So our season, we have people who come into our life for a reason and for a season.
Reason.
So if they've come in just for that season, okay, come in for that season, and then bye, time to go.
Girl. People don't understand those seasonal jobs.
Okay, seasonal job.
Your temp. Sorry to tell you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and it's okay. It's okay. You get what you get while you're there. Learn what you need to learn and keep it pushing.
that's it.
Okay.
That's it. I love it. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Final slide.
Yes, yeah.
Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiving yourself and your former partner can be a powerful step in releasing negative emotions and moving forward.
Mhm.
Forgiveness. Sometimes that's what closure looks like. Just being able to say, we may just have to agree to disagree on this, but I forgive
Mhm.
the situation. I forgive what it is that we've gone through.
What we going through?
I'm
Oh,
releasing this. I'm releasing this. Because for some people, that forgiveness is being able to release, to
yep.
be able to let go and say, okay, you may not understand, but you're willing to release those emotions.
Oof.
Okay. So that you're not stuck in that vacuum, so that you're not stuck, like I said, in that revolving door of
Yes.
coming. Now I'm mad at that person again. And every time something happens, I'm mad. This is because I'm not with this person anymore. This is because you. This is because you. You have
Let
to
it
let it
go.
go. You have to let it go.
Let it
And
go.
that forgiveness is going to look different, again, based on the relationship.
Yes. Yep. Girl, I be calling forgiveness the F word.
All right.
And the reason I do is because people will they bastardize that word so bad to me sometimes because they expect people to forgive people who really did a lot of harm.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot convince somebody who was physically, emotionally, mentally abused and just be like, well, you need to forgive them. That's hard.
It is.
It is hard to teach someone or tell someone, you just need to let it go so that when I teach forgiveness, and this is straight up in my sessions, I do it in two parts in 2 weeks. And the first one is forgiving yourself
Right.
because we're the reflection of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Ourselves, we're the reflection. So, therefore, if I can realize I didn't do anything wrong, or I see how I contributed to the situation if I did, or whatever I need to tell myself. And now, if I can show you how hurt people. It doesn't mean it was okay.
Right.
But if you could let that go about that person, they're toxic. They probably got some issues. They probably need therapy. But if you could let that part go and understand that they didn't know what they were doing, they've been hurt by somebody else as well, then you can start letting it go. It doesn't mean to go have a conversation and kumbaya with them. You don't
Right.
even have to ever tell them that you've forgiven them. They don't even have to know. It's for
Right.
you. Forgiveness is for you. Because you don't want to spend the rest of your life with that tense ball inside your stomach or that tense feeling inside your heart or always having headaches and even having medical issues because you're so strained by what someone has done to you. It says releasing negative emotions. Negative emotions, they have such a crazy impact on our life. We don't even understand how it affects us mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like physically. People are walking around with knee problems from unforgiveness, and they don't even realize that's what it
Right.
is.
Right.
There are real physical ailments that are going on in people's bodies when you're not forgiving. So yeah, I be calling it the F word because sometimes you just I don't wanna.
Right.
I don't want to.
Right.
However, when you slowly work your way into number one, doing it for you because you're most important. You're the most important person. Letting that part go, it's easier to get to a place where you can give someone else grace.
Absolutely. I absolutely 100% agree. Just like you said, that forgiving yourself and being able to say, I forgive myself for allowing this to
Yeah,
take over my ability to move forward
yeah,
and the effects that it has not only on myself but on those around me who may be
yeah.
close to me, my children, my other loved ones. What is it? I have to be able to say, I, I forgive myself for allowing this to hold me hostage.
Ooh, child.
I've allowed this to hold me hostage, and it's kept me from, from being able to love or to be open, you
Yeah.
know. And so yes, I'm forgiving myself for being in my own way. It's a lot, and it's a lot to do that because, like you said, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to. There's too many emotions that come with that.
It's
And some people see it as a sign of weakness. If I
we,
forgive you, it's though I've given you permission to do what you did. And that's not what you're doing. That's not what forgiveness is. You're not giving that person permission in forgiveness.
nope.
You're giving
You're
yourself
healing
an
yourself.
allowance. You're allowing yourself to heal.
Yes.
That's what you're doing in forgiveness. And that's
Yes.
what you're doing in forgiving yourself. You're allowing yourself to heal. You're
Yes.
saying, I'm
Yes.
giving myself this space to heal. And it starts with me.
Let
you
the
know
church say amen.
okay, and then just like you said, it's releasing that negative energy. So much of the interactions that we have with others are emotional ties,
Yeah.
and so there's always going to be that need for closure because we've tied ourselves to someone, whether it be sexually,
Yes.
whether it be emotionally. We've tied ourselves to that person.
Yep.
Then you see people where they're breaking ties. They're breaking those invisible ties that you can't see. They're breaking those ties, but
Come on.
they're there. They exist.
Come on.
And so when we talk about closure, we're talking about being able to sever some of those emotional ties so that way we can redo, so that we can rejuvenate ourselves.
Come on, Kim.
Because every interaction that we have with people is going to have some type of emotional pull on us.
Like it or not. Like it
And
or
we
not.
have to get to that space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Kim, I love this conversation.
I do too.
You
I
know,
do.
this is one of those yummy, yummy conversations for me because because we'll break it all the way down in our next episode where, what it looks like when you can't get it from someone else and things like that. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the conversation because we need it. It's needed out here.
we do. We do. I think that at times we lose our ability to be empathetic. Sometimes we're hard on ourselves, and it makes it difficult for us to get into that space of growth. You know, sometimes we are so hardened by the things that come into life that we're like that unfertile ground. We can't break through that clay. We can't break through that hardness to get to that place where we have a place of flesh, or
Yes.
where we can reach down in there and establish new
Manipulate.
roots.
Yes.
You know, we have to be
Words with
open
it.
to the water. We have to be open to the air. We have to be open to the sun. All of those things that are going to help us to grow. And if we harden our hearts and our minds, we're not allowing ourselves the opportunity to embrace those things that are out there for us.
Absolutely.
You know, and just again, like I said, closure is not a revolving door. It is a door. You're either going to walk in that door and you're going to walk out of that door.
Yeah.
And whatever is on the either side of those things, is it something that's going to serve you?
Yes. Yes.
You know?
So I
Oh,
just want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. Make sure you're
yes.
clicking like. Make sure you're clicking follow. Make sure that notification button is on.
Yes.
And make sure you're following both of our channels. What you got
Yes.
now?
That's it. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. That's it. Okay, and be sure that y'all are following us. Keep up with Sheronda. Make sure that you are buying pillows. She's still selling those pillows. Stop playing.
Can't stop,
Okay.
won't stop. I got one. As a matter of fact, I got a request today for another pillow. So I'm about to get to work on that bad boy.
Awesome, awesome,
I've
and
been sick
continue
in
to
the
follow
past
me.
2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, do that and continue to follow me in the 365-day challenge. Again, we're on day 216. It's never too late to join in. Create healthy habits, mind, body, and spirit, so that you're making overall wellness a habit. Keep rocking with us. Keep looking out for us. Again, make sure that you hit that notification bell so you know when we are on the air. And
Yes.
with that, I'm gonna say peace, love, and light. Until we see you guys next time. Peace.